Hi everyone, today I want to talk a little bit more about reported speech, which we talked about on Monday. So in this presentation, I'm going to go over a couple different things. We'll talk about pronouns in reported speech, verb tense, the formal versus the informal style, and reporting questions, which I think is the most difficult. So first, the pronouns. When you write in reported speech, you need to pay attention to the pronouns to make sure you're using them correctly. So in direct speech, maybe you could say, the teacher wrote, I cannot come to class today. In reported speech, you need to remember to change that pronoun, right? The teacher wrote that she could not come to class today. So you have to pay attention to the details, right? She added, I will give you independent study tasks. In direct speech, this becomes, she added that she would give us independent study tasks in reported speech. Or she added that she would give them independent study tasks. Or she added that she would give him or her. It depends on what the teacher means by you. So pay attention to pronouns in reported speech. Um, Another thing is verb tense, right? So pay attention to the reporting verb in reported speech. If you're using the present tense reporting verb, like says, then you don't need to do anything changing the verb tenses. You can just say, she says she doesn't have time. But if you use the past tense reporting verb, then that means you need to change the information to one more in the past, right? Like she said she didn't have time, or they think the movie is boring. If you use past tense reporting verb, it's they think the movie was boring. She thinks the other students came yesterday becomes she thought the other students had come yesterday. So remember to change the verb tense if you're using a past tense reporting verb. And if you get confused about how to change the verb tense, I suggest you go back to the chart that we used on Monday. It's in the PDF called Reported Speech. So another thing to know about reported speech is that um, there's different styles. There's a formal style and an informal style. The formal style is she said she was coming back on Friday. Informal might be she said she's coming back on Friday, right? This is more spoken English, or when you hear something very recently and you're reporting it to someone else. They said they couldn't hear you. In an informal style, it's they said they can't hear you. You'll hear this type of grammar a lot, and it's very acceptable, but in more professional or academic writing, you should use the formal style. So he mentioned he had never been to France. In an informal style, you could say he mentioned he never went to France. So in our class, we'll be practicing this way because it's important for academic and professional writing. Finally, reporting questions. So this is just another type of reported speech. And notice in this slide that I said direct and indirect speech. Indirect speech is just another way to say reported speech. So if in direct speech you have a question like, where were you? My mom asked. Then in indirect speech, it becomes, my mom asked where I had been. So it looks very different, but it's not so crazy if you remember the rules for noun clauses, right? So where I had been is just a noun clause, right? And since you use a past tense reporting verb, then you have to change the tense to be had been into the past. Another example, are you hungry? My mom asked, becomes my mom asked if I was hungry. Remember for yes or no questions to use if or whether. Who is the owner of this car? She asked. Becomes she asked who the owner of this car was. So just remember the rules for noun clauses and you should be okay with reporting questions. I hope this helps you with your exercises today, and I'll see you on Friday.